What's up, guys? Thanks again for joining us on SketchUp. We've got a fantastic evening lined up with Enrique Lopez, Kyrun Silva, and Mr. Fish is back. So don't go away. Don't touch that channel. We'll be right back. What's up, everybody? Thanks again for joining us tonight. We have Enrique Lopez. We have Enrique Lopez with us tonight, along with Kyrun Silva and Mr. Fish. Hey, don't forget to hit that follow button so we can go ahead and continue to bring you wonderful shows like Nick Barucci's The Original Art Show every Fridays at 7 p.m. And you're going to want to stay tuned because we've got some exciting stuff coming up real soon and towards the end of the year. It's going to be monstrous. So stay tuned and keep up with our weekly shows, right? And Mod Park has another campaign that's running. It's almost getting done, actually. It's about a week left for the latest issue of Snowplow. You can find that on Kickstarter. We'll see if we can get the link in there for you later on so that way you can go ahead and check that out. And if you haven't yet ordered the Mel Cosplay t-shirt, get on that website store for the EXP. Get your shirt. Get a free sketch from Mod Park. All you got to do is just take a picture and send it to us, and you'll get that thrown in there, okay? That will be free. All right. You got to push it where you can, you know. All right, so we got, let's go ahead and let's start with Mr. Fish today. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are y'all doing? Happy to see you.
Good.
I was planning on starting out today on finishing up my That's So Raven Mercenary pick for Stevie B from last time because I got too ticky and shaky to finish it. And I finished it while I was waiting on everybody else to show up. So now I need suggestions on what to draw tonight.
All right. So if you got any suggestions on what you'd like Mr. Fish to draw,
Spawn.
Go ahead and do that. You can go ahead and put that in the comments. Okay.
How about Spawn?
While you're saying Spawn, you can try that.
I'm doing an Angela from Spawn. So what?
There you go.
You want to team up with me and do a Spawn, and I'll do Angela? I don't know. It's just an idea.
Spawn's a pretty good idea. I see the EXP live set Condiment King, which I gotta admit, that's pretty good.
And you don't have to do a regular Spawn. You know, you could do, you know, some other, you know, type of Spawn, and there's so many of them out there, you know. So you can get like real creative like that, like the Samurai Spawn, the Medieval Spawn. I'll throw you in some ideas there. And we want to say hello to Kenneth Bird. Thanks again for dropping in. Mr. Note is there as well. And Derek Neiman. Haven't seen you in a while, so glad to see you there. And the lieutenant is requesting Gunslinger Spawn.
Yeah, because I'm doing a Gunslinger Spawn.
And, well, actually, Mark, you're doing a Gunslinger Angel.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm drawing on a Gunslinger Spawn.
All right. So. And now, and if you do want to bid on that Gunslinger Angela, starting bid on that is $200 on a Gunslinger sketch cover. So you got that there going there for you. And let's go ahead and check with Kyrun. Buddy, what are you working on?
I'm working on an original piece on 9x12. It's of my character Starcore fighting a predator.
Okay. Well, that's going to be a good one. Now, if you haven't seen Kyrun's work, you're going to be surprised. So that's definitely one that you're going to want to take a look at. He has been on the show once. That was a while ago, so we're happy to have him back.
Welcome back.
And we'll be getting with
I've been busy, sorry.
And those two, Mr. Fish and Kyrun, have kind of a long time rivalry going. So we're gonna have to ask you boys to, like, you know, keep it tame.
Hey, Fish, if you wanted, if you're taking suggestions still, you could also do Alice Lost in Wonderland fighting my character Ruby from Planet Oz.
There you go.
You try to
Sounds
give me
like there's a
lots of
picture.
work to do.
Always. Always.
All right. And now our main guest, Mr. Enrique Quique Lopez. How are you doing, sir?
Fine. I can't, main guest now. I'm just a poor soul here trying to not embarrass myself in front of all you guys and doing just
Welcome to the club.
yeah.
Welcome to the club. We always try not to embarrass ourselves, but somehow Maud brings that out of us.
Oh yeah, blame it on the only girl here. Blame it on the girl.
Am I right, Mr. Fish? Am I
Yeah.
right,
Man,
Mr.
I
Fish?
still don't think Esteban is right from having Mog on the show 2 weeks ago. He's still
Yeah,
he's
I
still
felt bad
talking
about
about
that. I'm sorry.
how deep we got on that show. Totally didn't mean to
I
get
don't know.
that deep, but boy, we did.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does get that way.
it did go
at
pretty
times.
deep and dark there, and man, you haunted me. Your stories haunted me for days,
But you know, we know
even
very
now.
we know very little about you, Enrique. So why don't
Yeah.
you start and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well,
Good stuff.
I started back in the bygone years of the 80s and trying to break in.
Those were some good times.
So
The 80s was a good time.
it was not what it is today, obviously. It was just the big two, and there was some continuity at that time, and stuff like that. But it was just basically that. And I remember my parents didn't want me to do it, so I went through college, and I actually got my business degrees, and then kept this on the side. But once I started working in advertising, I got involved with people, and I thought, let me try to just get in here. And I tried for a while, and like by '93, I came to New York to pitch an idea to Dark Horse because they were starting to do before they actually went on to do their little universe. They were talking about, we want to expand beyond the aliens and all that kind of stuff. So I presented to them an idea for a comic book. And I'll say this, it was very heavily influenced by Judge Dredd, what was seen from The Punisher at that time with Jim Lee, that realism from The Punisher War Journal. It was also influenced from the book from 2000 AD kind of comics. So I was on a lot of Alan Davis style, Barry Kitson, all those stuff. And of course they said no. Of course they said no. It's funny because I had it down that I had stories for the first year plotted out. And at that time, if people remember, there were like annuals coming out every that little special issue. So I had that down. I had when they were going to be in a special limited series, like doing stories on the side, and I had it plotted out over to about 125 issues, and I had it to the point where there was going to be a major problem in '97 that at the 100 point it was going to create like a split in the window. I mean, I had it down. It's like something I've been working for years. I started working on that in college, and by the time I presented it to them, and still to this day, I still have the pamphlet that I presented it all to them because, I was in advertising. So I had it all broke down, but Richardson said no. I'm like, no. And I said, okay, that's it. I'm done. So I went to hibernation for 30 years. So it's like I stopped doing it. And I just dedicated myself to working in advertising and other stuff in my own businesses. But then my youngest got really into cosplay, and then she started to notice that she actually did some cosplay stuff at New York Comic Con, that into Voltron and all that kind of stuff. And she did the jacket of Lance, and she went to have the picture done with the voice actor, and she was like, and the actor was like, "Wait, that's a cool jacket. Where you get it?" He goes, "Oh, I made it." I said, "What?" But the thing is that she started to like the sketch part more than the sewing and everything. So and she said, "Look, man, I really like what you used to do. What do you think?" I'm like, "You want to try this?" It's like, let me take you to.
Okay.
Let me show you how
What
to
a team.
And I went to, I think it was East Coast Comic Con, which is no longer working here in New Jersey. And I took her to that show first. And I remember I bumped into Billy Tucci. And he was like, "Bro, where you been?" Of course, I met Billy back in the 90s. And I was like, "Dude, I'm retired." It's like, "But bro, you had all the like, nah, but I haven't been doing much, I'm just doing this and that." And and he said, "You just gotta get back in. Just get back in." I bumped into Mark McKenna at the same show, and we spoke for a while. And he told me, "Man, all you need to do is set up a table. That's all you got, man. Just get in. Let's do it." I go, I don't know. I don't know. And then the very next week, he calls me and says, "Look, I'm being invited to be a guest at this library show. They want to give you a table. You want to do it?" I'm like, "Okay, we'll go." And then it is. And then that was in 2017. I got back in. And then since then, I've done like 20 Kickstarter works for other people. I've done stuff for them. I've been in anthologies. I've written anthology stories. I've inked them. And I've done covers. I've done sketch cards by now. Currently, I'm doing this work here. See if it shows up. I'm going to be the inker now for Codename Hunter. I'm working on issue 4 right now. I got my own stories out. I already did, like last year, I did this anthology. I don't know if it's showing up here. I can't see the screen. And here's and this is one of my creator-owned characters that I created in 1982, and they finally had a chance to bring it to life. So it just because it's been a while doesn't mean I can't produce it, So it's like really a lot of fun. And so hopefully by next year those will be out, as well as it's following up on that. So that's what I'm basically doing. I've been doing a lot of shows. I've been do Heroes every year and Terrificon and bump into Mogul in all these shows, and little by little, I keep doing it, plugging away, and helping my daughter. Now she graduated. Now she's graduated from FIT, and she's trying to make the whole art thing work. And I told her, let me see how this show goes. Maybe I could get you on. Because she is more than I am, 100 times. I keep telling her that if she ever decided to really do some of the stuff I'm telling, look, she could be, and I'm obviously a father talking, but she could be the next Alex Ross, because her oils are like blow you away. I mean, and she hates it. She hates the oil. It's like, because it smells. She's naturally gifted. Yeah,
I'm already intrigued and interested. Yeah, I would love to have her, and I can talk to you about that later on. I've also been thinking about having, which is, and I think you would fit good in this, a special episode that focuses on fathers and daughters. Okay, because there's actually a handful of you out there. You're one of them. So is Carl Allstetter, and so is what's his name? Bill.
Bill McKay?
Not Bill McKay. The other Bill. The guy that does Nira and.
I thought his name is Bill McKay.
Bill McKay does the that's a
Jim.
Well, I know the daughter name is Sarah.
Hmm?
The daughter name is Sarah.
No, that doesn't sound right either. Who's the guy that does Nira? Kind of forgot. Anyway, but he and his daughter, they've been on our show several times as well. Carl hasn't. Okay, yeah, but I've talked to him about it, and he's definitely interested if he can get his daughter to come on, who is really, really, really shy. But she also wants to try and make it in comics and follow her dad's footstep and carry it a little bit further from what Carl has gone. Okay. Yeah, it would be interesting to have you guys all on this special episode that I'm looking to try and do sometime next year. Anyway, I see that you have done like a lot of cons, and Heroes Con, is that your biggest con that you do? You said you do that every year?
Yeah, I've done it for the last 7 years. Basically, they were very, very extremely generous with me when I started out, and I approached them. And Karen, Carla Southern was great. She's been a great patron for me, and she's really given me a lot of support. And like, I started out like all rookies. We start out in the not so great areas as we earn our way into the better spots. And
right.
So I love that show because it is always comic centric, in the sense that there's no distractions. People who come there are looking for just one thing: comic book art, comic book celebrity, etc. There's not the distractions of the voice actors and cosplay. There's a lot of cosplay in there. There really are contests, but it's not the focus, And I always contribute to the drink and draw. Like, for example, like every year I put these little babies come out, and they're
great
back here. And this year, actually, I've improved it. I improved so much that I'm actually was in the $50 section. I was like, wow. But then again, I go to the show and then I see people doing like Tony Moy and his crew doing watercolors. I'm like, they're not worthy. So I gotta.
They're not just doing watercolors, okay, but they're taking their pieces and then putting them into become like connected pieces.
Yes,
right? Yes, and that's why their piece this year went for over $2,000.
Yeah, they're all
they got put on that. Yeah, Tony is a good friend of ours. We love Tony. Him and Daniel, the other guy that you're hitting on, they're good friends, and they're doing a lot of that. Their pieces just connect. Yeah, whenever they work on something together.
And I can't remember the name of the other artist who was next to him this year. Stephanie, I don't remember. He was doing an acrylic. No, it was watercolor. It was pencil art of a Yoda, baby Yoda, a Grogu on black paper. I was like, what? Like, these guys are out there though. But yeah, going back, Heroes is my favorite show. When I leave town, like there are a few shows that I really enjoy doing. I enjoy doing Heroes. It's the number one for me out of town when I leave the New Jersey area in New York. Also do Cincinnati Comic Expo. They haven't done it for the last few years because their convention center in Cincinnati is being reconstructed, it's being renovated, and the space that they have for carrying out the show these last few years is really, really small, and therefore you can't bring all the artists he's like to. So he has to bring in major draws, and I'm like, I know I'm not that level, so I'm like, okay, we're good. So hopefully next year I'm back there, and I also do Garden State a lot over here. Garden State's another good show for me. Terrificon, I've done it as well a number of times, and I do a lot of small shows.
You just finished Terrificon. How good is that for you?
Are we live?
It's like, I'm sorry. How good was Terrificon for you?
Most artists will say, "Oh, it's been great." Oh, it really depends. And sometimes I always say, you get lucky with your location. It really makes a big difference. And
Sure.
Some years I don't get a great spot, and other years, and this goes for every show. And other year, this year, for example, I was able to get a table right in front of Amanda Connor and Jim Palmiotti. So on a mat diagonal from me, I had two of my great friends, Joe Jusko and Bomba Cloud. So I was like in heaven. I was like, I'm perfect. I knew I was going to have traffic. and it's like other times you don't know. Other times I'll be in a spot and I think it's a great spot and it doesn't work out. Like this year, they changed me in Heroes. I was usually in the 600 section, but because the show is getting bigger and they're expanding into much more area,
Right.
that space was there. I was always across from Scotty Young, and I'm always next to Uko Smith and Daryl Banks. So,
Right.
So the thing is that that area used to be like where people would have lunch, and it was the line. People would go down that row to go to the food, some of the food. And this year, me out, I couldn't even find myself on the map because I found that they took me out of that same spot. And all of a sudden, I was thinking, where am I? But they moved us, all three of us, to the other section, which is I had next to me was Mark Buckingham. In front of me, next to me was Jim Starlin. I had my Bob. Bob was a little further down. I had Al Middlegroom.
Keith Smith was across from you.
It was like I was in this. Oh, and then who was down in the corner? Adam Hughes. I'm like, what? Imposter syndrome. It's like I was in this area. I was like, did they figure out where I am? And it was fun. It was fun. So it's a lot of the luck of the draw. Now, Terrificon is a really good show. It's pretty well balanced. It's balanced in the sense you got your celebrities and stuff. Sometimes I wish it would be a little bit of space for us in the artist alley. We have a little more because we're kind of cramped. But it's like every year it's in more and more tables and it gets cramper. But outside of that, it's a great show. I love it. It's the only show my wife comes with me. She loves to go to that hotel. She loves the hotel. She loves we go to dinner there. We always have fun. And she enjoys coming to that one. So I'm like, okay. Though I'm trying to convince her to come to Heroes because once you come to Heroes, you're never going to what? Terrific? I don't know. Let's go to Heroes again. Because I love the hotel, love the area. I go to all the museums when I get there. I get there a day early so I can go and check out the museums just to see what's new and what's going on and stuff. So yeah. So I recommend it for people if you ever want to make do the Heroes one because it is worth it. It is worth it.
At the Heroes Con in North Carolina, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just there. Actually,
you were there, Kyrun. How was that for you?
Yeah.
We were all there except for Fish. Yeah. I actually went by your table, Enrique.
Oh yeah?
Twice. This was before the show opened up. You were right across from Uko Smith, right?
Yes.
Who I also went to go see. But you weren't there, and that's logical because that was before the show opened up. And that's the only time that I really get a chance to like walk around. But yeah, I was hoping to chat with you then, but that wasn't possible. Now, in that area that you were in, and like you said, you're right. And I gotta credit them for this. Is that the way how they try to lay out the show, just so that area does get the traffic. They put in a lot of the big names in that area too, so where they can have that space to handle the kind of lines and crowd that they're going to get, like Adam Hughes, John Rubino, and those guys. So it's kind of nice for them to do that. Yeah.
I wanted to get
a location.
I was never able because his line would never come down, and I was trying to use my. I'm an artist, I'm working. Can you help me? And I was never able to get it, and I was like, well, so much. But I did get one. What did I get this year? Yeah, I was able to get one from this kid. Oh, what was the first name I remember? Collins. He does watercolors. He did a great one for me. I was able to get a Dennis Cohen. He did the question for me, and then Mark Buckingham. He had done a run that I did not realize with for the what do you call it, the Teen Titans, and he had pages there, and he really treated me nice. He gave me a really nice price for it. I was able to get an original, and then the the inker for it was also there, and I don't remember his name right now. Yeah, I was able to get them both to sign it, so it was a lot of good stuff. So I mean, that's the show I always take. I say I geek out, So I go the day everybody's loading up, I try to go around and see everybody then, because I know we're all going to get busy. It's going to become tough.
Yeah, it does. We try to, but it's hard. But I find it sometimes rather difficult, at least for Mog, when she has big names by her, because sometimes we get buried by those big names. Like for New York Comic Con this year, guys that they have in our row, we have like John Diang, we've got I think John Romita's there, Frank Miller is there. All these big names are by us. Yeah, in fact, I was looking at all the rows to see where everybody was at, and our row has the most. But hopefully, we'll still do good there with all the big names. I know we'll do good, but will we do spectacular? I think that's what I'm kind of like thinking more of.
Sometimes
yeah, I do get worried when there's a lot of big names around us and stuff, because I do believe that has an impact. But I like it though. I'm enjoying seeing all these guys.
There was one year that I did New York. There was a COVID, right? The 21, and I remember I didn't get in immediately. I got in. I was in Miami to do the SuperCon, and I got the email, "You're in." I said, great. And they wouldn't give me a table number, and I was like desperate. I need to know the table so I could start promoting. And they never got me a table number. So I told Alex, look, Alex, E1 is available. E for Enrique, E1. And he goes like, and you for bothering him for like 2 weeks ago. Okay, fine, it's yours. I did not realize what I was asking for, because I only recall my buddy Keith Williams would be next to me. That's what I wanted. But the thing was this: when I got there, I noticed that it's the escalator hits my booth. Okay, the actual everybody coming down hits my booth. That's where the escalator ended. I go, oh shit! And then on top of that, Rob Liefeld was behind me. So his line was created, so everybody would leave and they would go around and boom, hit me, and go boom, boom. Hit me. So it was like insane. That was like one of my best shows ever, because I had that great spot, and everybody was like coming by my table. How do you get this table, man? That's saying, man. But it may have involved some groveling. But the reality is that I didn't realize the prime spot it was until it happened, because I was just looking to try to get there so I could be next to my buddy. I had no idea what it was, and it was just one of those things that like, oh my gosh, look at this. So yeah, so sometimes they work out. But I know, for example, like one show, a small show, I got put. It was Bob Sharon, myself, and Keith, and then next to Keith was DMC. Man, the line for him was Chloe across all three of us. And I love DMC. I love the man. He's great. He's actually bought stuff from me and stuff. So I really appreciate it. He's a good friend. But I remember every time he shows up, am I near him? It's like, because it's packed. Every time they come around, there's packed to the area. So I like it when some shows separate, like with Heroes, they had Romita and Hannah and Jurgens in that separate area. But then I remember a few years ago, a buddy of mine was complaining that he was next to Scotty Young, and he was blocked all the time.
Oh, God. Yeah, and Scotty Young probably has the biggest line at Heroes that I've seen, at least in the last 2 years. That guy still has a commanding audience. His fans just like really, really love him, and they line up for him like every year. And that's the reason why they put him in like at an end cap like that, is so that way that line can run in the middle of that aisle and not really interfere with everybody else that tends to complain that nobody can see them. But yeah. Heroes is a great is a great show because, like you said, it is a very comic centric. I think it's actually people come there more for the art because I try to sell comic books there that Mog has worked on, and we're able to sell a few of those, but it's like 90% of our sale is on original art and commissions, and
That is correct.
that's where we flourish at. So
Yeah.
we really for a show,
Um,
and Carla as well has been very good with us, especially this year. So we're really liking going back there, and hopefully they'll approve us and have us back next year. To not get us in again, we would be sorely disappointed. And we like you also participate in the drink and the draw and the art auctions, and we're there checking it out as soon as we can after we eat, right? Because those
Yeah.
are two great events to be in,
yeah,
and the cars that they serve.
yeah, it's just a lot of fun to do, and but like you say, it's one of those things that I've been very blessed to be doing it. I've been doing it like all these years, and because I knew a lot of friends of mine were having a lot of trouble trying to get in, and
Yeah.
it wasn't until they expanded that people were finally getting in, and then,
Yeah.
but not every. It's one of those shows like you said it right. It depends on what you bring and what people are what you bring to the show. Like I got fans who every year check and see what print I got, and those are cool. But the majority of my stuff is commission and original stuff, original artwork. So I always fill up my books, make sure I bring in original inking, original pencils, because that's what's going to go. That's what's going to go.
Yeah.
And it'll start on Saturday for me. Friday I'll move, but Friday it's the show is geared for Fridays to be for the legends. Everybody you see all these dudes come with these carts, and they're there to have all.
Those are all the books they want to get signed, but
and
that's yeah. It's more. It does seem like it's more of an art con than anything else, which we love, and I do love it that it's one of the cons that you see so many legendary names at, which you don't really see as much at some of the other cons around the country. So I can get really goo-eyed over there with the names that they keep announcing as the show gets closer, and yeah, so that is definitely a con to go to, and we recommend our friends to go there that are, if they're serious about comics or art, especially the your veteran artists, your legends. That's a great one.
I've already talked to a bunch of my followers here and the people who have very graciously support me here locally, and I tell them, dude, you have got to make a pilgrimage. You have got to do it once in your lifetime. It's like doing New York. You do New York once, cool. I'm still trying to go out to do San Diego once. My daughter says we got to do San Diego once. I go, okay, but I think it's basically like New York, except over there with palm trees. So I don't know.
Okay, well, It's not. Yeah, I don't know. I would put San Diego behind New York and Heroes
And Emerald.
and Emerald. Okay, to kind of give you an idea.
Yeah,
It's
very
not
pop
it's not in our top 3 for
Very
sure.
Hollywood.
I'm not even sure it's in our top 5 actually.
well,
Yeah, when I think about it, I don't even think it's in our top 5.
I mean,
Top 10, yes.
Like for example, Uko loves it, but he's been doing it for like years, and he's gotten work there. And he loves it.
Yeah, well, Uko also has a name too,
Yeah.
So he's I think he's got his name in the right places where he does well there. We have never done San Diego officially yet. Mog has been invited as a guest under publishers, but not officially, going there on her own.
Mhm.
And so she might be like a day here or a day there. Okay. And the reason for that is because Southern California here has so many shows. You've got that, plus you've got WonderCon, LA Con, Comic Con Revolution, Long Beach Comic Con. They're all concise here. And trying to do all those shows, you're only going to be seeing the same clients, customers 90% of the time. Right. So I felt that the best thing to do is just to pick the ones, just pick a few. Or in this case, I'm only picking one show to do out of the whole area. And right now, that's going to be LA Comic Con that we're going to do this year. So we can try to avoid that. But we have been talking, Mark and I, that we might do San Diego next year, only because we have a certain plan, a certain marketing strategy that we want to do. And we think that will help make our presence there, where we'll have a better outcome than what we would if we went there just, as we are. All right, so let me check with Fish. What are you doing, Fish? What you got drawn there?
I am doing Gunslinger Spawn.
Okay. And what's your starting bid on that?
I say $50.
How much?
$50.
$50 starting price on that. Okay. All right. There we go. $50 starting on the Gunslinger Spawn. Gunslinger Angela, we're looking for a bid of $200 on that. Let's take a look at what Mog has so far. If we can see that. And then Kyrun is working on Starcore, battling the Predator, and his starting bid is 50. Oh wait, what? Yeah, $30 on that.
Yeah, 30.
Is that your starting bid?
Yeah.
Okay. Very low. Let's get a bid on that. Okay.
I wish you guys had told me that. I wish you guys had told me Heroes Con was more centered on art instead of books before I went, because that's what I focused on when I went this year. I was like, oh man.
Oh, okay.
Like books, no, you can sell books.
Yeah.
But it's just it's I know for a fact that some of my friends who sell are mostly writers and stuff. They tend to suffer a bit, and until they get, unless you're in the indie island section, it's a little tougher, because in indie island people know what they're looking for, and they're going to look for writing stuff in there. But I know a buddy of mine who did it for the first time this year. It wasn't. He told me it was a great experience as a whole, but for him, sales wise, it would have been cheaper to not have done it because of the cost, to get there and drive from New Jersey or fly in and stuff like that. So he was like, nah, it wasn't, almost not worth doing it. I was like, okay, I get it. Now for me, I just do it every year because I just love it, and I'll work it in somehow. Everything else works towards that year, that show.
I mean, I did pretty good at the show, but I was primarily focused on selling my books, so I didn't bring like any supplies to even do a commission. And I kicked myself a lot thinking back that what I missed out on if I had brought maybe a couple more pins.
I took all my pins this weekend and forgot paper.
Well, that sounds like Larry Stroman. He came to a show with nothing once. He left his whole bag. I'm like, dude, what do you do? So he went to Michael's, got some paper, some pens, and still made a killing because he's Larry Stroman.
Yeah, he's Larry Stroman.
You know what else you can do? Okay, you can always go around and ask like other artists and stuff, and they are willing to help. It's not uncommon that somebody forgets their art bag or it got stolen because it wasn't being watched. I think that's happened to somebody at somebody this year. They were riding on a train.
Ben Temple-Smith.
There you go.
It didn't get stolen. He was in a rush to leave, and he forgot he took all his suitcases out, but he forgot his backpack.
Yeah, okay, but he went back for it and it was gone. Right, so he eventually got it back, but however, during the con he had nothing. So, but luckily he was able to go around and get some stuff in, put some artwork out that way.
Now you
So,
do know near the art stage, they always have an
yeah,
an art an art store at Heroes. You know, so you can always
yeah,
go
that's
and get stuff there.
oh
I
yeah,
mean, I buy their stuff all the time. Just let me do this.
yes,
Let me grab that. You know.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, this is my
Sure.
first time doing it
And
this
I
year,
like it
so
when I like it when they have places like that because then I could like take stuff over there and get it properly scanned, or at least close to getting it properly scanned with the DPI, and then just email it to myself so that way when I get home, I can just like download it, onto my computer. So yeah, I do like that Heroes is set up like that, and some of the other cons are like that, but other cons are not like that, and it kind of makes it difficult. It's hard to scan in 11x17. You can do it now on your phone.
I agree.
It's a little bit easier, but
I agree with Enrique. If you just only sell books, for example, my friend, he flew all the way from Brazil, prominent comic creator, got his books, and throughout the entire stay, he even flew his own artist, right, from Brazil, and he only sold one book.
Oh no.
In Heroes Con.
oh yeah,
In the entire stay in Heroes Con.
yeah.
So if you only go there to sell books, for some reason, even though it is comic centric, no, I think it's more like art that does comic centric. Maybe that's the proper word.
Well, okay, well, there is truth into what Mog says. Okay, but it's also the matter of what type of comics are you selling? Okay, is it something that's going to be
Or mainstream?
yeah, to that can be like a mass appeal, because the guy that you're talking about, Mog, that has
They're
a
not
very,
buying what you're selling. It doesn't matter how good you are at selling it.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
I drove all the way across the country to Maryland to Small Press Expo, thinking it was aimed at small indie publishers like us, and it turns out it's a zine con, which is great. I love zines.
oh,
I've still gone to the con. I just wouldn't have paid so much for a table because wasn't nobody
Yeah.
buying full color comics at that show,
Mhm.
especially not
I did.
action
Right.
comics.
I did SPX this past weekend. You'd be shocked
Yeah.
how much it's probably changed, Fish. We did really good selling full color action
Right.
comics this weekend. But I will say
but
this.
you're selling back issues, right, Kyle?
No, I
like
was
Marvel
working for a
and
small
DC?
publisher.
Oh, okay.
I was a hired gun this weekend, man. But no, we did really well.
Woo.
But I will say this. We were set up near a lot of the students, like the art school students. So we were selling to
Yeah.
them primarily.
Okay.
Yeah.
So indie comics seems to do much better for like younger crowds than like college. That's funny because remember, like our friend, she mainly goes to indie. I never knew this, but there's indie conventions only, small, like very indie,
Yeah, small press. Small press, which is what
conventions.
Kyle was talking about, SPX.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And then most of the killing that she does is from selling to college kids.
Yeah, well, there is a niche. College kids do like that stuff, and I do watch for those shows, but somehow those shows for us don't really do well, Mark. But I know those guys have money, right? But they are buying very niche comic books. They're not really tied like into the mainstream. They're quite different, but it's great because. And I've seen that at several places, even in Chicago. I've seen that up there in Chicago. I've seen it up in Seattle. I've seen it up in even in Hawaii as well, and even down here in San Diego. They have their own small press con as well, and some people that go there do really really well. But they're selling a very niche comic book that they've created. And good, which is because I think that will help our industry in the long run. So
Oh yeah, and I love those kind of books. That's just
Yeah.
not the book I produce. So it was a waste of effort for me that time. But
No, you
Right.
got
And like those,
a lot of this generation now are more into the manga. So that was also something that affects. Because I remember at Heroes this year, I had people coming up to me looking at my original stuff and says, "You have any stuff any manga characters?" And I was like, "Oops, no." And I had one thing that I did a piece a while ago that I did show them that had like One Piece and other characters, but it's not what they were looking. They were looking for something else. So I'm like, okay, and that's why I don't do the show. I don't do SuperCon anymore in Florida because that one has become a manga show. And
I've heard good things about SuperCon.
That was almost more like a cosplay show from the very beginning. When Reed Pop took it over, they were trying to convert it over into comics, a little more comic centric, but it is still mainly a cosplay anime show. I did it one time, and that was the flavor I got from it. I knew about the history. When Reed Pop took it over, they took it over like 6 months before the SuperCon, and that wasn't enough time to convert it over, right? So, but that was when we got in, and I haven't gone back there yet, but I do keep my eye on it just to see like what they do, if it's going to affect it and change it. And right now, from what I'm gathering from what sources I'm able to gather, it's still pretty much that way still. So, but continue watching and see where it goes.
But that raises a question because Enrique, you brought up the topic about manga, but before I do ask this question, hey Kyrun, are you right now alone in your house?
Yeah.
No, I got 2 kids and my wife in the house.
Okay, because in the beginning of the show, I saw this shadow like flick across your roof, and I was like, oh my god, what the heck? I hope
I just saw you
that
play 40 minutes somebody behind
shadow of a figure flick across you, and you were oblivious. And I'm thinking, holy crap! Like, okay,
you saw it. You didn't say anything, so you could have been attacked.
All of a sudden, my camera goes out and nobody says nothing.
So nobody.
Hey, what happened to Kyrun?
Pro serial killer. Nobody said that at all.
No, that's true.
Yeah,
she's absolutely killed Kyrun behind his back.
Well, wait, she could be. It's not that she's pro serial killer. She could be anti Kyrun. That's all.
Yeah, you're being when you're being a bad boy.
Not necessarily, different circles on the Venn diagram there.
I mean, maybe she just hates us. She doesn't like us Northern California people. That's all it is.
Okay, look, I was quietly inside freaking out, but no one seemed to notice it. It was the first 5-10 minutes in the show. I saw it, and I was just quiet the whole time. But thank you for clarifying that. But anyway, back to the question.
Well, what was the question?
Because Enrique brought up about manga. You know how people say to go with the industry, go with the trend, you need to change yourself and adapt with the whatever, right? The trend to survive. You need to be adaptable. So does this kind of give you guys the thought that maybe we should change with the times, or it's okay not to change with the times? As in, maybe we should all do a bit of a manga style, at least a manga format, manga style story, whatever. Has that crossed your mind? Any of you guys?
Anytime I start a new book, I think about, should I do a manga? Because, the thing that always tears me on it is all of the kids want to read mangas. All the next generation wants to read mangas. All the old cats like me want to read comics. But, the old cats have more money than the kids do usually. And
exactly.
If the kids are going to spend money on it,
Thank you.
they're going to
Thank you, Mr.
money
Fish.
on
That's
something.
exactly what I keep telling. That's exactly what I keep telling Mog.
Yeah.
They don't have the kind of money that we're looking for. If I was selling $3, $5, $20 stuff, then it would be right. But
Right.
the price stickers that we carry is so much higher. These guys can't afford it.
However,
Well,
that's kinda
okay,
short-
can I contradict that? Because if you go and look
Sure.
at a lot of these anime conventions, they're buying hundreds of dollars worth of products in merchandise and even original artwork. Sometimes I've seen creators go to Anime Expo and other anime conventions and come out with 4 figures of profit. So
Yeah,
I
but
think
are
I'll-
they
fans do
buying?
buy?
But are they buying no-name indie books that nobody's ever heard of, or are they buying stuff that's well known that all their friends at school know? Because like
Yeah, are they
my
buying
kids
other IP
will not watch an
property?
anime unless everybody at school has already watched it and they know it's cool. Like they will not try something new to save their lives.
Yeah, but I mean, we can
Right,
say the
yeah,
same thing
I
about
know,
some
but
comic
they're
books,
not-
though, that people won't buy your original comic because they don't know anything outside of Spider-Man. So it's no real different on that situation.
But you're not the first one I heard that from, Kyrun. There's like other people that have said the same thing about like SAC Anime, which you are right there too. Some people tell me that that's a pretty good show to do and that we should go there. I haven't been convinced of it yet. Maybe one day, and I think if I was going to consider doing an anime show, that may be the one, because I've heard it from different people. So, but I don't know if that's something that can be said across the board for like anime manga shows, because I haven't seen it, even though they seem to be popping up more like crazy. Even here in SoCal, there's like 2 new shows, anime shows that have popped up, but their attendance is pretty low. So it seems like they're only just thinning out the crowd from other shows, and I don't know if that's the right direction to go
But
in.
you guys also said, Fish and Mel, you both said that the ones with the money are the older generation.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of short-sighted, because in the long run, those people will die out. And then the younger ones that you never targeted won't care for comic style at all. And they will be the one.
I mean, I agree with you. That's the thing that I'm torn on.
Yeah, of course.
Because
of course you're right.
And start marketing to the people that will be buying for the next 40 years, or I could continue marketing to the people that are buying now that are maybe going to be buying for the next 20 years. And
that is one of the concerns of the industry that the industry has, is how do you bring in new readers to keep that market going, right? Because right now, at the pace we're going with the shrinkage of the market overall, it may not be there, or it'll be on a much smaller scale than what we're seeing now. Now, the good thing is, okay, and I've been in this since the late 70s, right? This is the best time that I've seen for original artwork. Okay, that stuff is still continuing.
Yeah, that's the salvation
to get better,
especially because of AI now.
Right, and the fear of AI, in this case, I don't really fear it that much yet, because I just see, I'm just seeing more people coming into traditional. There's several times a year, Ma gets somebody that comes up to her and says, I've never got a commission before, but I want to get one from you. I want to start collecting art, and I want to start with you. And so hearing that is not really good, not just for Ma, but for overall the industry. And that's great, to feel like maybe the comic book market isn't growing as much,
but the appreciation for art.
But there is an appreciation for original art, right? And I hope that can stay and continue to grow. And I think that will do wonders. And to back that up, we can see that at the cons. Okay, it is so hard to get into Artist Alley, no matter what show you're doing, no matter how big your name is. Right, they have to contend with who they're dealing with. Even the big names want to get in there as a guest where all their expenses are taken care of. But there's so many big names now that want to get in, and these promoters can only afford so much, and that's the reason why it's tough for them. Okay, for us, it's tough trying to compete at the same level we're at with people that are just trying to get a free table. Okay, there's more now than ever before.
So just real quick, Mel, you said something that I wanted to kind of comment on real fast. The comic industry is growing, and the way you can tell is that local comic shops are seeing almost a 40% growth this year over last year.
Fantastic.
So
wow, that's amazing. I wasn't aware of that number.
Yeah, I think conventions are transitioning, like again, into more openness to original art and less openness to buying back issues or even spending $1 million on celebrity photos. But the industry as a whole is growing, and it is that younger college age, high school age demographic that are coming in and they're buying their manga, but they're also picking up Batman, Deadpool, and the ultimate stuff or the absolute stuff.
Mm.
And I know, at least from my comic stores, they're like you guys are saying, they're actually transitioning to where they're including more manga and anime associated things to bring in those crowds, to bring in those college group. They're still 80%, 90% comic book focused, but they're also saying, well, we have to find ways to get these younger people in there that are just reading manga.
Right, and that's that. I've seen that. You guys have brought up a good point, because I do remember talking to the comic book stores about that, how they were trying to get into manga, and it's been a learning curve for them because they just didn't know what to bring in and how much of it. Okay, so I guess in the last 2 years they're learning and figuring it out. And I'm glad to hear that those numbers are turning in their favor. 40% increase is really good, and hopefully we won't see too much more of a shrinkage in the comic book stores, and that this industry can continue to grow. If we can get our other areas fixed, that can help. Hopefully, that we can even see a faster growth in that area.
Well, I hate to be like a downer here, but the reality, I don't know the numbers you're coming from, if they include Amazon or not, because the problem is for the local shops is that their bulk pricing is never going to beat Amazon. It's never going to happen. And there could be a kid wants to buy a manga. I don't think they're going to think about going to their corner comic book shop, even if they have it, because they can order it and probably get it 50% off on Amazon, because Amazon's overhead for that is minimum, or they'll take a loss on that because they'll get more money on some other product,
But so the thing about it is, Enrique, that we're seeing is that the kids are going with their friends. Yeah. It's like the mall in the 80s, right? But they're going to the local comic shop or the anime store with their friends from high school, and they're talking about it's the community.
They're
not
building
necessarily
a community.
Just the product. Yep.
And a lot of comic stores are also going into like Magic the Gathering and other cards that are really big for those young people to also draw them in too.
Yeah, well, Magic has been part of comic book stores, at least in my area, ever since it came out. They've been big time over here in Southern California. I was a big part of that market, so I know how that got developed here and stuff. But all that is great. Great to hear. The other thing too, to combat this, the argument with Amazon, is that if you sign up for a subscription, right, you can get like 10% off plus your bags and boards for free. Depending on the store you're going to. But that's the kind of deal that I get, right? Sometimes even better, just because of what we do. But the minimum is about like 10% and free bags and boards, and that's quite a bit of savings there. So when you get if you're ordering your comics from Amazon, I'm not sure if they really do that. I don't think they're going to send them to you with bags and boards. Right? So you can look at it that way. Plus,
actually gives me my comics with a back and a board. They actually give
You-
them.
Great. Okay. Yeah.
You mean Amazon?
No, my local shop.
No.
My local,
It's a local shop. Yeah. Yeah.
So-
So yeah, some guys, some shops, so yeah, they definitely will do that. In the 90s, that was standard that you would get your bags and boards free with your comic book, but the price of those bags and boards have gone like way up since then. So it's a little bit more difficult, right? The wholesale price on that stuff for 100 bags and boards, and for that was $5 for 100 bags and boards. Now you're I don't even look at the total because I don't get the bags and boards. If I need them, I can get that for free. But I know it's way up there now. Not as cheap as it used to be. Same thing with the boxes. The boxes are not cheap. They're quite expensive, I think. But yeah.
Man, they've got prices.
All right, let's see. Yeah, Rook Peace is asking, does Amazon fill the floppies? Kind of curious about that myself.
That's actually a good question,
They do
Rupees.
not.
They do not. There we go. I get
Yeah,
a kiss on the
they-
pat
They
on the
do
butt.
get manga, but you cannot get floppies.
Yeah, okay. There you go. So, yeah, but with a comic book store, you can it's possible to get a discount with your subscription,
And then there's-
on the floppies and the manga.
Everybody's favorite day, free comic book day, right?
Oh yeah, there's
Yeah.
free comic book day, man. Love that day.
Crazy.
It's crazy. Almost every shop.
So many people show up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the artists in this area are very cooperative in trying to get into a store. In fact, there's a demand to get into the stores on Free Comic Book Day in our area. So.
Stephen
I've
does.
done them in the past, but a lot of times those stores, they really don't make much off of that unless somebody buys other stuff, because people
Yeah.
come in there, get the free comic and then leave and not pick up anything else. You're not really helping. It's like
No,
it's like what I
You're
do. I'm a collector. I collect vinyl, and I don't know. Maybe, I don't think with the camera you can see them in the corner, but Record Store Day comes out twice a year, Black Friday and in April, with the idea they're having people come into the store, to the local your local record store, to get those limited editions. But the whole idea is to advertise for you to come back to that vinyl store, and it doesn't always work out that way. Some of these people just get what they want and never come back again. And I'd like to go to every city I go and visit. I always go to a record store just to, and if anything, I'll buy one thing to just support them and give them promotion. So if people did the same thing for comic book day, they go there and think, you know what, this city, and let me go check that out. It would help. It would help.
Yeah.
yeah, and in our area, we see that there are a lot of people that just come for the free comics. Okay, but it is still a big sale. It's a big sale day for the comic book stores that know how to manage that event. Okay? And what I mean by that is you don't just open your doors and give out free comics. You have to take advantage of that day. What kind of special thing can you have going on there? On the products that you have, right? And I think if you move in that direction, it'll be more beneficial for a local comic book shop on that day, right? So, but I'm in the same thought as you, Enrique. Like when we do these free appearances at the comic book shops, I don't go there. We don't go there to just take advantage of the free location setup, and sell our wares. Depending on how much we make, I will drop money at that shop. Show my appreciation.
Yeah.
Because I want them to, like when they have another event like that or something special, I want them to think of us and have us back. Even if they want me to appear and I don't make any money, I don't care. But it is a way of supporting the industry. If they want my support, I am willing to give it if we are available. And I think if everybody thought along that line and not just about themselves, I think we'd be better off as well. All right, and we're gonna say bye to Mr. Fish here.
Oh, Mr. Fish has to go.
Yeah, he's got to take care of some stuff, but you know, we'll definitely have him back. And hope you have a good rest, Mr. Fish. You are good to go, buddy. And if we go to bid on your gunslinger spot, I will let you know. You know that. All right.
Oh, his local comic store, it's closed. But he sold everything bagged and boarded.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was the day, and that's how we did it. Yeah, we would eat that up. Free bags and boards. Yeah, even in my shops, that was my standard. 10% off, free bags and boards. Yeah. Then if you wanted to, back then in the 90s, too, there were guys that would say, well, you know, I want to buy 100 copies of this, you know, because that was the decade of like big speculation, right? So then we could like bump them to like 15% off or so, and not give them the free bags and boards, you know, unless they wanted it, then we'd figure it out.
We have this in Korea, and they're huge. We call them, because in Korea we call comics manhwa. That's our word for comics, manhwa. So we call them manhwa rooms. So what happens is you go into any store, any manhwa rooms, and in there, it's a rental. So you buy 1 hour, and you stay there, and you read anything you want, anything that's all there, right? And so you can either buy an hour of the slot for the time, or you can rent the books. So you pay for a very small fee, and then you can pay, like you can just rent for, usually it's about 3 days, a whole like series, and then you just read it like crazy, and then you go back, and then you keep. So there's a huge, like, what do you call constant customers going in and out, nonstop. I mean, that has been going on for years and years and years.
It's funny that
you guys never had anything like that here in America?
If you go into,
it's not possible, right?
like that.
I don't remember
Because it
anything
gets
like
stolen,
that.
right? Collectible.
Well, the closest is that I used to go to a Taiwanese cafe.
Yeah.
And they would have all their manga books there, and you could like just sit there and read all day.
That's all. There's no like time. And also, what I forgot to mention is all the pop culture books. You're talking like books from the martial arts series. It's huge martial arts series, man. It is so good. If you ever read these martial art books, probably it can never get translated in English properly. But these are like, China is so good at making these martial arts stories. I mean, you're taking like
we got those here.
You guys have books like that?
Yeah, we did. I do remember seeing those. Even in our shop, we carried some of those books. Okay. They weren't translated, but we had the clientele that could read them. So.
But I think the only reason why that could be working effectively is because we don't have a collector's market like you guys, where if you ever get your hands on an old comic, it's worth gold, literally gold, right? You'll keep on appreciating.
Mm-hmm.
In Japan or Korea, in China, we don't have that. We keep on printing. There's no such thing as, oh, it's first edition and oh my God, this is, no, we don't do that.
Right.
So.
Yeah, there's not that kind of a collector market for that. No appreciation for a collector market like they do here in the West. Okay, but that's the difference between the markets and why we have certain things that happen here that don't happen over there.
And I just thought about this. The reason why, like, those things exist in Asia, especially the urban cities, is because space is so like tight. Premium.
Yep.
We don't have room to store books, but we want to read those damn books. So what we do is we rent them and we can return them. that's how it always works. It's because space is so limited. But in America here, I mean, there's nothing compared to Asia. It's very spacious. You can have room to store, like even have a bookcase full with books. So maybe that's also the reason why it's so effective. And
I think it's just that in Asia, it's been like kind of poor. They've pulled themselves up quite a bit now. Before there wasn't like a middle class, and that wasn't even that long ago. But now you have the emergence of a middle class that's being developed there, and that's the reason why you see a lot of like Chinese now that are able to travel, and we've been seeing that industry grow for them in the last 25 years now. But, all right, let's take a look at it, see what we have so far around the board, starting with Maggie.
okay.
Looking on a gunslinger Angela.
So that's the girl. Let's go
Looking pretty
this,
nice. Looking for an opening bid of 200 on that.
this.
Okay.
Gonna do all her hair, and then she has a classic that ribbon thing flying around.
Yep.
So
yeah. And don't forget, we also have Mr. Fish's Gunslinger Spawn.
Yeah.
Battling a predator. No, that's somebody else. Just Gunslinger Spawn. And he's looking for an opening bid of 50 on that. So if we can get that, that'll be great. A nice way to say hello to Mr. Fish that way.
Wow,
and now we have Kyrun's Starcore fighting like a giant predator.
Dang.
And I got it. On the description, it says it's a 4x12. It's actually a 9x12. So I don't know why.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm gonna color
it. That's on me. Sorry about that. I read that wrong. I don't know.
I might have
getting pretty. My eyes are getting pretty old, as Mom will tell you. But yeah, all right. And he's looking for an easy 30 on that. How can you guys let that go?
I want that.
Yeah. All right.
Wow, it's actually Enrique, it's very delicate and pretty, unlike your masculine, manly voice. Great.
It's because I live with my wife and daughter, and then also have another daughter. I'm surrounded by females, so I'm in tune with my female side.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait. When you were growing up, did you have sisters?
Brothers. Only one brother, and I'm the oldest. Yeah. So and it was like I had two cousins that were like from one family were two cousins, two male. The other family were two females. It was always in pairs. It was funny, So yeah, but no, I never had like female siblings and stuff. So, but I have always been surrounded by strong women. My mom, to begin with, my grandmother. My grandmother, I had two grandmothers, but mostly on my mom's side, because she was a hard worker and she enjoyed life, and she was such a big influence on a lot of my stuff, and she supported everything I wanted to do. She would tell my parents, "Let him do art. Let him do art. That's what he wants." And I'm like, no. So, so yeah. I mean, I've been surrounded, and then a lot of the people I started to work with at the beginning were really strong female bosses. I mean, so for me, it's like I'm surrounded by that dynamic. Like, cool, it's all good. I've never been one to be like Mr. Macho, that kind of stuff. I mean, I enjoy like the quality of the person, no matter what. So
yeah.
And
I would have never.
Friends I have.
I would have never. Because your voice is so deep and masculine.
Well,
you have a very classic
Latin in
New York.
It's a Latin.
Oh, you have Latin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah,
we do have a.
You have no accent. Yeah, I don't have it. And the problem is I will pick up the accent. I have I used to do. I used to be actor and voice actor for like commercials and stuff. So I had to be able to pick up accents depending on the product and stuff at times. So I'm very easy. Like if I go to London, I started. You have to go and I'll start talking like people will say, "Are you from Ireland? Are you from Scotland? Are you from?" No, it's just I unfortunately hear it and I pick it up and I have to mentally make myself remember. Do not, because they might get insulted. You might think you're making fun of them. And
oh my God.
I'm the same way as you, and I hate it. It hasn't gotten me in trouble yet, but I keep thinking, man, you're so stupid. What are you doing? You know, it's like it just registers in your head, and you just start like talking. I was a dude. You are not a local. Stop that. You know, you sound crazy.
I did my college career in New Orleans, so that's a melting pot of a lot of accents. I remember one of the little sisters from my frat asked, "Look, I got this buddy of mine who's coming in from London. Could you show him the town?" I go, "Of course." And so I was taking him out. And what happens is at some point in the night, you were talking, and all of a sudden it goes like, "Where are we going?" "Oh, we're going to hang out at the pub over here." And then we're going to, and I straight up, he goes, "Oh my God, you're from London?" And I was like, "I'm sorry. I picked up your accent, man. Forgive me." He goes, "Oh, no, it's just freaking," he was like, "It's freaking awesome. I thought you were from, you sound like me." I was like, "I know, I'm sorry, man." So it happens. And my wife hates it. She hates it. "You're doing it again." I was like, "I'm sorry, babe. I'm trying not to." You know, it's not like I actually have to think about it. So when you hear me, you will sometimes hear me do a drawl, and that is from that's the only one I remember to force myself. Use the drawl, because that way I know. Because every once in a while you go like, "Well, you're trying to sound like Boston, don't you?" And I mess with people like that. When I'm different places, they don't know me. I go like, "So where are you from?" "I'm Boston." You know, what's wrong? I will mess with people with that. What the hell's wrong with it?
Did you?
I would love that. But you know, it's funny you mentioned that, because as I was listening to you keep talking in the beginning 15 minutes or so, I was like, this guy sounds so familiar. And then I remembered recently I'm on a Stephen King back to the past kind of thing, where I'm listening to all the books that I missed reading, like all the series, and usually they're starting from the 80s, and then now it goes into the sometimes 70s, and then now a bit 90s. And the narrator, one of the narrator that uses that is quite common, sounds like how you talk with the voice, intonation, and everything. And I thought, man, this guy could be so good at audiobook reading.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, hopefully, anybody out there read somebody, I'll do it. Who was listening to you the other day? It was, I saw something on an app. They were announced. It was a promo for a book, and they had Hugo Weaving, the actor from The Matrix, and and he had a totally different voice. Well, but it was the way he was describing the thing. It was so seductive. It was like, my God, that is. First of all, I never knew it would have been him. And second, it's one of those things that it immerses you into that story with the inflection that they do. It's not like sitting down and saying, "Well, we went down the road." No, there has to be there's an art to it. You have to know the inflection. There is some acting in there. So it's like, some people think it's the voice. No, man. It's like people like Hank Azaria, all the voices you can pull off of The Simpsons. You go like, "Oh my God, this guy does that," you know. And it's like all the different way they can change their voice to do stuff, and how long it takes them to come up with it. You know, it's not that, you know. Some people say, "You'll do it as reading." No, it's that. No, it's that. You know, I like them showing up on my art shows so they take my money from me, because people spend money on them. But I love them. You know, they're great. I'm hanging out with them. But
have you realized, like, some of the audios, like, if it's really good, like the guy that I'm listening to that has very similar voice like you, and there was a story that they were reading. So they go into female character voices, and it becomes so like believable that this is even though you know it's a guy reading a female voice. Like they can break into characters so well, whether you're a guy or a girl. And some of the female readers, they can do it really well, but it's like, so it really depends on how you act and how you tell the story. It really paints the entire world. So.
I don't remember who was mentioning it a moment ago. I was saying that I think you asked a question a while ago saying like why don't we do manga to like compensate for the movement of the market? I don't remember the person who told me this once. And he's another writer. Once told me, he says, just because you think you want to do your story in a comic does not mean that's the best medium. Because that's the first thing you have to understand when you're doing a story as a writer, which is the best medium for it. Because sometimes you may think, oh, I'm going to make this a great graphic novel. But then when you look at it and come down to it, it's like, really, it's maybe some things are best left to the imaginations, or a novel would work better, or a movie would work better for something. Well, that's why some movies from books suck. Sometimes some movies based on comics suck because they're trying to translate a story from a medium to another one in which it was not meant to be. Sometimes that's why I like when some people they're given the reins to mess with stuff. Like when I saw the series of the Penguin on HBO, and that blew me away. And it's not the concept it would normally be of the Penguin, but it's like, yeah, that worked. But then you look at the one they did, and I was like, okay, that didn't quite float my boat, that version. But this one was something. Besides the fact that Colin Farrell disappears into the role, you can't even tell it's an English guy doing that. So and it's just incredible. So sometimes you got to be able to, like, so many people, oh, why does this Stephen King book didn't work in the movie? Because it was meant to be as a story of a book. It was never really meant. You can do your own thing, and that's why a lot of when I read about all these people saying, "Oh man, this movie sucked." Let's say I'm gonna say one like The Eternals sucked because of this and this and that. I'm like, first of all, it wasn't made for you. Okay, that's what I was like. It wasn't made. Good answer. You're the comic book reader for another audience. That's one. But two, you have to give the people, like, for right now, I haven't seen the new Superman movie. I wait for it to come up on streaming. But I've been hearing, that they do this and do that. It's not the right. It's this guy's interpretation of a character that is closing in on 100 years. Let him be. Yeah. You don't have to like it. Yeah. It's not violating your code of honor. Say, oh, it's not really. No, it's like you can like the Tim Burton Batman and still like the Christopher Nolan Batman. They're two different entities. Doesn't mean that Michael Keaton is better than Chris Bale. Well, probably. But outside of that, yes, they're two different characters, two different interpretations of a concept. So I think that the fans fail. And most of the time, these old school fans are saying, oh, this is what I remember. Bro, you started reading this in the 60s, 70s, 80s. Even when you went to the 80s and the 90s, you saw a switch. You saw when Dark Knight came out, followed by Watchmen. I'm sorry, we went from, and even then, the 70s still had Neil Adams doing the stuff in Batman, which was dark. Okay, that was really the beginning. And you got Deadman later by him and all that stuff. So all these things that came out were already pushing us to that point. And then it got a little lighter again. And now we're back to the dark again. Now we're in all the man. So it's like you got to adapt. And that's why every once in a while, I'll still try to see if I can learn of something new and maybe get better at another thing here and stuff. And do watercolors and things, just so I can say, okay, we got something new coming in, and maybe people will like it. But again, it's one of those things that I don't want to do it because I feel I have to break out. I want to do it because I enjoy it, and that's what I'm looking for. Something that will say, okay, this could be the next thing and stuff. Because let's face it, I'm doing this today. This is not my forte. This is not what I normally do. I normally do the inking. I like doing the enhancements. I like getting in there and helping create a form and stuff. And but I noticed that for me to get certain things sold, I have to do it all the way. And I've had to learn how to play with colors, and I have to learn how to do a whole bunch of the stuff that I wasn't doing before. So it's all part of the process, man. And it's like, and again,
Wow.
I never thought, I've never taken a lesson in my life. And sometimes I wonder I should, because every time I see what my daughter could do, I go, well, that's where all the money went to. And I mean,
sounds like a good investment though that you did. So that's great.
But her work, it just blows you away. I mean, I showed one of my mentors, and I'm a great friend of mine, and I love name dropping because it's like one of those things you go, hey, look at that. Bo Hampton. I was so fortunate to I've been sitting next to him.
We love Bo.
And
we love Bo.
Yeah, Bo is great. And I actually have a piece that he did for me here, where is it? I got a Moon Knight Batman that he did for me.
Oh, nice.
Oh my God. Moon Knight?
It's by 17. It is a massive piece of it. So, and I showed him what my daughter was doing, and he sat down for 15 minutes on his board for me to do a video to show how she could play with acrylics and have an effect of doing oils on that. And he did that for her.
Yeah.
And so when I came back this year, I showed him, check this out. He looks at, oh my God, that's really good. Is that a picture? No, bro. That's the latest drawing my daughter did. And he was like, it looks real. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. He says, I guess you learned. Yeah, I guess you learned. So that's the thing when you go to these classes and stuff. They tell her how to play with colors. They tell her how to do that and how to do other stuff. So it helped. It helped. I'm learning on my own.
Let me ask Kyrun. Kyrun, for your books, do you do everything on them?
I write all the books. There's only a couple that I haven't drawn, which is Starcore with the character I'm drawing right now, and Saw the Lightning Wielder. And the only reason I did that is for Saw, I'm not the most comfortable when it comes to drawing female characters. And since it's a female-centric book, I was like, I wanted to get an artist that can draw a very nice-looking female character that's eye-appealing. For Starcore, I wanted a more animated Saturday morning cartoon look, which my style is not really that in per se. It's very comic book-centric. So I got someone who actually does more cartoony, like 80s, 90s style cartoon look to draw that series. And that was just more of, I wanted a certain look for both of those books more than I felt comfortable doing.
Okay. So Taurus Comics, that's yours. How long has it been since you started that up?
What was that? 6-7 years ago? I actually started up. I started with another company called Big Tree Comics, and we went our separate ways. They started doing their own thing.
Sure.
And then I started up Taurus Comics. I was like, I already know how to make comics now because I've done it with them for so long. Why not just start doing it? And it's been fun, just the idea of taking control of where my trajectory is going, like not having to worry about other people being the boss of things and just do what I want to do. I've definitely made a lot of mistakes over the years, but it's been a fun experience so far.
So how many books does Taurus Comics have now?
I have 4 series out right now. Total though, there is 13 books total out of the 4 series. Out of those 13 books, I've drawn 7.
What some of those, can you tell us what some of those books are?
Yeah,
and then give us a little pitch on them.
Yeah, actually, let me see. So I thought I had the books right next to me, but they're not here right now. The first book is called Shaman's Destiny. The first book is called Shaman's Destiny. There's 6 issues in that I wrote and drew. And it's a fancy adventure series about a young man who is the spiritual protector of the universe that I put together with Taurus Comics. But he is trying to find out his history and his family's history. Throughout the 6 issues, there's a lot of twists and turns in that, where he finds out why his family are chosen to become the spiritual protectors of Earth for, Taurus Comics. And he finds out, how he got these powers, and why his family has to basically protect the world. Second series, it's called Saw the Lightning Wielder. It's a series based off of my wife's ethnicity. She's Hmong, so she's from Southeast Asia and Laos. And I wanted to create a character based off of Saw. To them is sort of like Thor and Loki combined, where it's this lightning-based god, but he's very much of a trickster in its own way. So I thought it would be cool to play that dynamic of having a female character have all these magical powers, how all these superpowers, but especially in the Hmong community, the women are I don't want to say they're looked down upon, but they're not treated a lot of times as equals, especially in Laos. Here in the United States, that's changing. So I wanted to sort of play that dynamic up in that story. We have 4 issues out on that. There's Ruby from Planet Oz, which is supposed to be a 6-issue miniseries that I'm writing and drawing, but I only have 1 issue out so far because I've been doing so many other things. But it literally is just Wizard of Oz in a sci-fi tone. So Ruby, her main character is Dorothy Ruby Johnson. She's abducted by aliens and taken to the planet Oz, where she meets the Lion, the Tin Man, the wizard and all that. And she has to find her way off of Oz and get back to Earth. Okay. And then the last one is Starcore, which I'm drawing. And it's about this young man. His name is Cortez Corey. And the town that he grew up on was created on top of an alien crash landing. No one in the town knows about it except for the people behind the scenes. But Corey finds some information, finds the aliens' technology, and now he's being hunted down to basically hush him up.
Interesting.
So, alien. So he's picking up alien technology, but there's no aliens yet, right?
No, there's aliens there. But that's the government sort of hiding them from the people.
Ooh.
And so we got a bid on your Starcore right now for 30, but you did mention that you're going to throw in a Starcore #1 sign. Is that it?
Yes, I am. The first issue, I'm going to throw that in along with that. So just for people who want to try it out and read it and see if there's something they like to enjoy.
Okay, there you go. So you'll get anybody that's the winning bidder on that Starcore will get that first issue copy. So that's pretty good. You can look at Kyrun's art there. He's doing a really good job. Currently, that Starcore is at $30. So if we can get that bumped up a little more to make it worthwhile, that would be great. So anything above minimum increments we're looking for is $5. So the next one we're looking for on that Starcore is $35. That's pretty low, guys. See if you can pitch in for that.
I was thinking to myself, if my family, like for generation, is the caretaker of Earth, and I don't know, and I found that out, or maybe since I was born, I think I would really hate it. All the responsibility, I can't have fun. I would really I think I would just become a villain. I'm sorry. It's not good.
You're like the responsibility.
It's too much. What? Come on. What? Enrique, right? You and I, Kyrun, do art. All of us here, except maybe Mel. We're secretly probably introverted, right? So.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do we really have the capacity to care for billions of life forms on Earth? You got to be a really special personality, I think. I don't know. What about you, Kyrun?
I barely have the capacity to care for my kids sometimes. So caring about 8 billion people in the world is not something I'm down for.
Oh, before we forget, Kyrun, if anybody's interested in getting these books or like checking in, do you have a website that they can go to?
I do. It's tauruscomics.com. So it's right there in the little marquee there.
Oh, okay. There you go. Right there, guys. You can go ahead and check that out. How about you, Enrique? Do you have a website?
Yeah, I believe I put it on my the link tree is right there. You can see it. It's like at the link tree at Art by Kike Studios. You go there, you'll be able to go to all my social media.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
And my social media, and more importantly, you can go to the website of my daughter because she's part of the studio, and so you can also check out her work, and she's available for some commission work now. You know, I am the agent,
Awesome.
so I get my cut. So please, I'd like to.
Okay, how old is your daughter?
She is 22. 22.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Oh,
I was going to say, man, is she like 13 and just rocking it?
Well,
Okay.
she published at 16. Okay.
oh
She
wow.
she was together. I did an anthology called Not So Fairy Tales, which is basically taking fairy tales and giving them their own spin. And I wrote 3 stories in it, and I inked all 3 and drew the 3rd because my artist disappeared on me, ghosted me, and I had to do. But in that one, when I was asked to do it, I negotiated that. Well, if I'm going to do it, because the editor really wanted me in there, I want my daughter to be involved. And they said, okay, can she draw? Oh yeah. And she ended up doing a version of Cinderella that really rocked. And I basically helped her because she was not used to doing comic book panels yet. I kind of guided her by doing a layout for her and said, look, this is what you got to look for and do this. And I edited for her. And I ended up having to do the castle in the end of one of the stuff at one of the pages because she ran out of time. But so yeah, it was one of those things that it was a proud moment, and that I actually still have copies of it. And then from there, she did a pin-up for another one, and then for another anthology called Modern Mythology, volume, I think it was volume 2, I think it was. And the writer had the same problem I had, that he lost his artist and was desperate. And because he knew me, he says, look, man, can you help me with that? But at that moment, I was working on the stuff. I said, I can't do it, but I know who can. And I took my daughter to do it. And again, I said, I'll do the backgrounds. You just worry about the characters and stuff like that. And what I did, I basically did the first page. Like I did the first page of the story. I did it, which was a fountain. And I took pictures from the fountains here in New York, and I used that as reference. So I created the first page and the last page were mine, and then I used that as the background for almost all the images because it all had to deal around that fountain. And it's funny because when I told her, you want to do it? Did you read the story? Yeah, Dad, I read it. You read the story? Yeah, sure. You want to do it? Yeah, I'll do it. Halfway doing the work, she goes like, "What the story is so sad? Did you? You didn't read it, did you? You didn't read the job, did you? That's so sad." I go, well, you should have read the story. I go, so I said yes. So it's one of those that she enjoyed. It was a good experience, but it was one of those times I go like, sometimes you have to write or draw stuff. There's something that's not up your wheelhouse, and she did really well. But yeah, so that is actually, I still have copies of that one available as well. So, but yeah, so she's done that, and she's done other pieces for other anthologies and stuff. I had a big thing going on with anthologies, but all the time the Kickstarter, once Kickstarter started going corporate, it started, most of my guys, everybody started slowing down, and because it was not getting the what do you call it, the followings that they were getting before, because almost every Kickstarter I worked on, they were always get funded, always. And I always say, I'm the lucky chick, I'm the lucky guy that helps you, I'm the lucky token. But the reality was, it was just well made, well organized, well promoted, and then, but after a while, it's becoming really, really hard. I think it's a lot harder now to get noticed in there, and it takes a lot.
You really have to stand out now with your Kickstarters. I mean, there's a whole genre of people that just go out there and just produce the Kickstarters for you, and you can just hire them.
Mhm.
And it's really become an actual business of having someone run your Kickstarter campaign for you, and it's almost necessary in order for your campaigns to even fund now, unless you have a huge fan base on your own.
Yeah, I mean, a buddy of mine, Russ Cassidy, he does that.
Yeah.
He's done a bunch of them. He's done a bunch of them for like every year. He does like 25, I think he's done this year, and he runs them for people. Like he puts the look for it.
Mhm.
He sets it all up. So yeah, it's out there. But so it's just interesting. There's a lot of it takes work. It's like everything. You expected to get this done like really easily. There's work. It's just sometimes people think it's supposed to be like magical, and AI doesn't help because people say, "Oh, I could just put that in the machine and get something rendered." Yeah, but and a lot of stuff you're seeing also, a lot of the stuff that's happening on Kickstarter as well is that there's a lot of garbage out there too, and they're producing it to like what I don't know if I can say this here because it's basically PG stuff, but I call them titty book, and that's all they're doing is just the cover and cover and that. And I mean, look, if you want to use your disposable income on that, more power to you. Okay, more power to you. But it's really like it creates a lot of noise. It creates a lot of noise, and then I know for any of my Kickstarters, I refuse to put any of that kind of stuff there. I already told people that I'm like, first of all, my wife has already prohibited. Right? She's like, you're better not doing that. So no, okay, baby, no problem. But it's like, yeah, because I find it funny because she will always tell me, yeah, your market's the horny teenagers. I wish that were the case. But that's not the horny teenagers are not the ones who are coming through. They're not the ones buying it. There may be one or two, but that's not really the people I'm seeing. But no, but just it's not something I know some of my friends do, and they're great, and like more power to you because they have their public there. I mean, I can tell that you got Bill McKay who does them with his Kim and the guy that the zombie one and Red Bull does a lot of stuff. I mean, more power to them, man. It's like they got their niche, and they're
Okay. Yeah, Pat Shan, who does a lot of that as well with his books. He's a writer for Xenoscope plus his own, and then you've got Dustin Brunel from Ethereal Comics who does a lot of that as well. And we were in the beginning we were doing that, right? But I had this discussion with Dustin before that it's great, but that's not where we want to go. So I told him that that we're gonna just kind of like break off. But it's you might want to start there, and I know some famous guys that started from there, right? And some guys that continue to do well, like Ebath, another good friend of mine. He's going to be on the show later this year. Does really, really good with that. And yeah, power to them. You got to decide that's like where you want to go.
I think. Hey, do you guys kind of agree with me? Like when it comes to art, it's kind of difficult to lie, as in if they hire you to do a TNA piece of work, right? And you have to make it as objectified or sexual as possible, right? I mean, that's your contract work, but inside you really don't like doing that. So it doesn't come out great. But say, for example, Kyrun, you like doing really, I don't know, say Predator, you love that kind of monster stuff. And if somebody asks you to do that and you draw that as well, plus the TNA, like, you think it's noticeable to the viewers that this is what you truly like and this is what you are really, who you are?
Well, I'll say that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, go ahead. You already started.
I have a patron that at shows will come to me with requests, and he pays well. He pays well. Now, another buddy of mine, Keith, and I, we are both under his. He's a sponsor of both of us, and every time he comes over, I say like, "What's coming?" Luckily, all out. They don't go all out like hentai and tentacle porn. No. Stories about the tentacle porn. It's like we have I remember a bunch of us were at a table talking about this at a restaurant. People were like, "What the hell's wrong with these people?" And it's like we were talking about when we were asked about this stuff. But then it's like, okay, but that's like once in a blue moon. I will get something like that. Because anybody who looks at my work will look at it and say, like, yeah, he does this nicely, but I don't see anything here that will scream that. I mean, every once in a while, I'll get some weird stuff like, can we do Little Mermaid? I go like, where anything you're seeing here gives you an impression I can do it, you know? Oh no, once I got somebody to ask me to do Stitch as Link, because I have a big Link. I'm known for my Link. I've done Link 100, and so
okay,
that's interesting. And it was funny because I was in that show we were at Heroes. Guy Gilbert was there, and I went over to him and said, "Hey man, check out this Stitch." Well, I did. He goes like, "You did the nose wrong." God damn it, bro! Like he goes like in a piece of paper in 2 seconds. This is how it goes. I'm like, I hate you. He says, dude, you know how many of these I've done in my life? It's like I do this all day, man. It's like I'm done. Here, you do one now. Okay. So I fixed it. Actually ended up fixing it on the commission. But it was like, yeah, so every once in a while some strange things will show up, but I am lucky to not get that much in the sense that it's not, people don't gravitate to that. They don't, I don't think they'll do that. Now, and most of the stuff I get is pretty much up my alley. I will get weird things, and not weird in the sense that I was at the show once, and I'm hearing that the person next to me, I don't remember the artist who was there, was being asked to do so. Was it actually, once again, it's at Heroes, and he wasn't interested in this. This guy was babbling stuff, and he was not having any of it. But then I go, and he said something. The person said something, and I go like, ugh. And all of a sudden his gaze looks at me and he goes like, "You look like a guy who wants to draw Pumpkinhead." And what the hell is that? And so I had no idea what we're talking about. And I go, "Pumpkinhead." I go, "I don't know. If you pay me, I'll do it." You're gonna pay. He said, "How much?" "Oh, this much." And I looked at it up. I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting." And that was actually
that's a good one.
It's the horror character. So I'm like, "Oh, this is perfect for me." So I went like, black and white's perfect, man. Black and white and gray. We'll do that one. So that for me was actually a kick in the head. And I love that. But it was one of those things that I just, you never know that it's going to show up here. I'm going to put this here. So maybe, let me see if that can be seen now. I can't tell. Yeah, I can see it there. And I can't tell from there it is. I think people can see it now. Pretty much.
Nice.
That's a decent.
Nice. That's looking good.
Very delicate and very feminine. Yes.
Thank you.
I like it. The colors are nice.
Love the Kirby crackle around there. Yeah. Let's take a look at Starcore and Predator here.
Yes.
Look at that.
Badass. Look at that.
Right, there it goes.
Work
I'm going to color it later on.
Good. Oh, there you go, guys. He's going to color it.
Yes.
That currently has a bid of 50 on there. So if you want to place the next bid on that, go ahead and do so in the comments.
Is the Predator inspired by your wife? Like,
oh, actually, I'm sorry.
When she's mad at me, yeah.
The rage.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And that's with Starcore number 1. Okay.
Whoa. Yes.
You're getting a double treat there. Stevie B has a control of the bid there on that. And And there's Angela. Okay. No bids on that. Looking for the opening bid of 200. All right. So next week, LA Comic Con is going to be in action over the weekend, so we won't be here next week. It will be a bye for us. Okay. But don't fret, because we will be back in the following week. And so in that following week, you can expect to see Travis Corwin will be back with us talking about his latest one issue comic book that he'll be launching pretty soon. And then Leanne Hun, I think is her name, will be joining us as well. She's a gaming artist from Blizzard Riot Games, to name a few, that is trying to make a crossover into comics, right? And I think she's been at this for like a couple of years. We've met her a few times. We'll see her in LA, and she'll also be in New York, so we'll see her there. And we also have Les Garner is coming back, and that guy does some really good work as well, right? So that's something that you can expect to see here on SketchUp in 2 weeks, and we hope to see everybody then. Now, we've still got a few more minutes that if you want to place a bid on any of the comics that are right there, you can. And also Mr. Fish, we did get a bid on his Gunslinger Spawn, so we're happy for that, $50. And of course, we'll be happy to accept more bids. If you want to do that, do so in the comments, okay? And if you by chance have been keeping up with Snowpaw or want to catch up with Snowpaw, that's the book that Mog works on. She does the interiors and covers. Check out the Kickstarter, Snowpaw, for issues 1 and 4. You can get caught up on that. And don't forget to visit the links that our artists have displayed on screen there. And go check them out, see what they got. Especially Taurus Comics has got a bunch of comics you can check into. Enrique has his own art. And hey, does your website have the link to your daughters as well?
Yeah. If you go into the link tree, it's the studio link, and there you'll see. Find out more about Quique. You'll see me, but you can go down to anything there. Really me. But then you can say find out more about Maria, and that'll take you to her webpage and everything there.
Okay.
She's done a good job. She's got her webpage up already. Mine, I'm still working on mine. But yeah, we're talking about the TAs, right? The TNA and stuff. This is the only one I've ever done, and this cover is the only cover. Let me see if I can put it here. There we go. That's the only one I've done, and it is for one of those books, but it's very, very light on it. Maybe like a few pages of it, and only because when she transforms, whatever clothes she's wearing flies off until she forms into her uniform. So that's basically the level of that. So it's not really much. And of course, they're tentacles, but anyway, we'll leave it at that.
The tentacles are coming.
Yeah,
all right, we got about a minute left. Let's see, any last minute business. This is the time to put it on now for those last minute bidders. All you snipers out there.
No, that artist, Ben Worrell, he did that work there, but he's also worked with me. That's his own work. But we did a story for an anthology, which actually was going to be a part 2 of another one it never got produced, unfortunately. But now it's found second life in a new anthology that's be coming out, Wonder Worlds, under Caleb Thussett, and he's going to put it out hopefully by the end of the year. And so he and I are going to have a nice little sci-fi story I wrote, and he drew, and I inked, and I actually colored it in dual tone, but it's going to be black and white, so it's going to be gray tones. So it ends up being gray tones. So that was coming out in the future. So I'll hopefully once that is before it's launched, I'll have it all info up on the pages and stuff. So I don't know if anybody wants to bid on it. Available. I'll throw in some.
You do have a bid on it, Enrique. You do have a bid on it, and
thank you.
I will be sending you that information. Currently, you do have a bid of $50 on that from the lieutenant. I think that's.
Thank you, Lieutenant. You're the best.
You're gonna get a good deal, my friend. It's a good deal.
There you go. Yeah, like I tell everybody, the things that you get here on SketchUp, you are pretty much getting it for like.
I might even throw in, since you're being that, I might throw in some stickers. Oh, watch out.
Oh my God, already getting a good deal and he's throwing in more like stickers. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, we do have to go pretty soon, but I got one question to ask you, Enrique.
Yeah.
I saw on your Facebook page that you are the editor and marketing consultant for Fung Fung.
Yeah, that was when she started out, and she
Okay.
had Butterfly Tears. I believe it was her first book,
Right.
and
Right.
she wanted somebody to help her promote it. And the thing is that because her English isn't at that time wasn't really that good, so I was basically out there promoting it for her and stuff. So I got the byline in there, and she put me in there, and I was like, so I'll just add it to my. Because right now she's trying to get it through. She wanted to get it republished through Fabrice's line, and
yeah, that's no longer happening. Yeah, Fung Fung is actually a frequent guest on our show, and she's actually a good friend of ours because I don't know where she was at the time when you were talking to her, but she's moved since then. She's moved to LA, and if you look at our Facebook page, you'll see a lot of pictures of her with us, especially in the last 2 years or so. She's been coming along with us doing the show. She gets her own table and everything, but well, we tend to travel together. And that was my whole reason for asking, because she would mention that she had like an editor marketing consultant, which is actually what I do for her as well. I'm editor marketing consultant.
Yeah.
And she sometimes mentioned that she had like another one, but I didn't know. She never mentioned who it was. So when I went to your Facebook page and I saw, oh, so this is who that is.
That's what it was. Yeah, and I actually met her at SuperCon, Florida SuperCon, and she did for me a Wonder Woman sketch, and then we started, corresponding and stuff like that. And then she says, "Look, I have this book that I really could use your expertise." I was like, "Okay, let's just do it." Says, "How much do I have to pay you?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it. Just if you want, put me on a credit in the book, and give me some copies and stuff, and I'll just help you." And that's what we did. And I remember she did Heroes the first time, and she was stuck in that area where I was. But when there was new,
that was that was last year. She was actually traveling with us last year, and she did come with us to Heroes Con, and we shared an Airbnb together and everything else. She actually even flew with us, so she was with us the whole time.
She used to live in Utah, if I'm not mistaken, originally.
Correct. I met her. She was in Utah. She moved to LA back in December of 23.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's still.
Anyway, guys, I want to thank you all for coming on the show. Appreciate it. Everything. We'll definitely love to have you guys back. You guys did a wonderful job on the artwork there.
And let me know about that. Let me know if you want me on that. I'd love to do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And I'm going to be checking out your website soon after this, because I'm really interested in seeing your daughter's work. Kyrun, we hope to see you soon as well, and definitely want to have you back too. All right. So guys, thanks again for being on the show. We'll be contacting you later, giving you the information of your high bidders. All right. Thanks everyone. Good. Take care, guys. See you in 2 weeks.